Hey everyone, Sarah Dan here. Thank you so much for registering for my training, the 3-step plan to blow up your income in 30 days. Long story short, I am somebody who blew up my income in just 30 days following a really simple 3-step marketing strategy. No BS. I promise you, I know that sounds like a big promise, but literally my entire life was changed in a 30-day period. I went from having an $8,128 month in January to a $45,971 month in February. And until this day, 2+ years later, I still use the same 3-step marketing strategy as the backbone of my business. Last month, as I'm talking to you, last month was a $71,000 month. I had to think of the number. A $71,000 month, and my marketing was no more complicated or no more complex than what I'm about to teach you in this training. So please go through it, digest it, go through it twice if you need to, and take action accordingly, because I really believe so deeply that your life and your business can be changed so much more quickly than you probably think that it can. I think so many of us think that, big changes in our income need to take months or years. And I am living proof of the fact that that is not actually true. I'm only making this training available for 2 days. And because the reason for that is because I want you to really digest it, go through it, and take action on it. Again, because I know of how powerful it can actually be. And I don't want you to waste any time. I don't want you to bury it in your inbox, never to go back to it. I want you to make the big changes and the big leap in income that I was able to make. And I believe so deeply that these 3 steps can make that possible for you. Okay? Enjoy the training.
All right, so the very first thing that I want to show you is just a quick little screenshot of my income, comparing it January 2017 to February of 2017. I wanted to show you the proof, the receipts, however you want to say that, to really show you what's possible, right? That's what this training stands to prove and stands to convince you of more than anything, is that this is a 566% increase in just a 30-day period. And so wherever you are right now, maybe you're at $1, maybe you're at $10,000, whatever it is, I want to drill home the point here that a change, and a big change, can happen quickly. And I want you to believe that. I want you to know that. And I obviously want you to act accordingly, because if I did it, I don't see why in the world you can't do it too with these 3 steps. Okay? So the first thing that I focused on was, number 1, I decided to pick my core platform. I decided to pick what I was going to put all of my energy towards growing and nurturing. Here's what I find so many people do in the online space. They have a bunch of different social media platforms. Maybe they have their email list. They're a little bit here, they're a little bit there. They're putting energy into one thing for 5 minutes and then trying the next thing the next week, and they're all over the place. And that all over the place energy is giving them that kind of results, right? Scattered efforts are always going to bring in scattered results. And so for me, I was like, I understood and I recognized the fact that I don't necessarily have to do more, and I don't necessarily have to be more places in order to make more money and make more impact and connect with people on a deeper level. I just wanted to focus on showing up somewhere and doing it a really good job at that. And again, making sure that I was capitalizing on the efforts that I was making versus, like I said, being scattered and being all over the place, right? Again, you can't master 10 platforms before you're mastering one platform. And so for me, I chose to make my Facebook group my number 1 priority. Not only was I sending everyone there, right? So I was doing things like going live in the Facebook group, but then I would tell people on my Facebook profile, hey, I'm going live about this. Join me in the Facebook group. I had a banner on my website, I changed my cover photos. I did live trainings. They would go down, like live workshops or challenges. They would go down in my Facebook group. The list goes on and on and on. Every single day, though, I was making sure that I was corralling, I was pushing everybody towards the Facebook group. And it got to be this thing where my people knew that that's where I showed up, that's where I hung out, and that's the place that they wanted to be. And, I want to remind you all, I think sometimes we can be in such a rush to grow these platforms, right? And for me, it wasn't as though I got, 500 new followers the first day that I started to do this, right? I don't have the exact numbers for you, but in those initial 30 days, it's not as though I completely blew up the Facebook group. But 5 people here, 10 people there, especially if they're the right people, they can make a massive difference in your business and in the money that you're making, right? So again, I was just making this intention to intentionally send everybody to my Facebook group and to, of course, then show up there consistently. One of the things that drives me crazy when I hear people talk about their Facebook group and they say things like, my Facebook group's crickets, nobody's really showing up there, nobody's talking there. And then I find that they're not showing up themselves. I want you to understand, I'm not exaggerating. I made a massive effort to show up here. I started going live every single day, which I'll talk about in just a couple moments. I started going live every single day. I was posting every single day. I was having conversations with my people. I was asking questions. I wasn't treating them like a bunch of, numbers, right? I think that's what a lot of people have a tendency to do. They treat their followers like potential buyers and they just focus on the numbers. And I really shifted into making sure that I was showing up and treating my people like they were people. I wasn't talking at them. I was talking to them, right? It doesn't matter. I could hand you my Facebook group tomorrow. I could hand you my Facebook group. Followers aren't what make you money. People paying attention to you and wanting to hear from you and believing in you and trusting in you and feeling like there's a connection to you, that's what actually gets people to move and to buy, right? And so for me, it just again became this massive effort that I'm going to grow this platform every single day. I'm going to show up there every single day. I'm going to make my people feel connected to me every single day and trust that it was going to, I look at this logically. If I know that I'm good at what I do, right? I know that I'm good at what I do. So if I'm showing up there every single day, sharing content, sharing value and information, more importantly, sharing solutions that I know my people need, right? Business building in its purest form is simply problem solving, right? So the way that I look at this is I know my people have problems and I know that I can solve those problems. So if I continue to show up and show them that I can solve those problems, of course they're going to want to work with me, whether it's today or whether it's 6 weeks from now, right? And so I just committed to showing up there and really making my people feel like, again, I knew what I was talking about, but making them feel like they were heard and making them feel like they were connected to and making it feel like this was a place of value to be, right? Not just treating them, like I said, like they were a bunch of sales. So I, again, wanted to make them feel connected to, and I was showing up for them consistently. Now, obviously, there are a million different social media platforms that we could go, different options that you have, right? For me personally, I believe that Facebook groups, if we're just talking about coaches, it's just the way that makes the most sense. I know every single time I try to do an Insta story, I always just run out of time because I have so many things to say. And I think that as coaches, a big part of our job is to talk to the people, to share our thoughts, to share our beliefs, to share our expertise and the information that we want them to know, right? And I feel like Facebook groups lend itself the most to that, right? And so for me, again, having people in a Facebook group, when so many coaches are already on Facebook, they're spending so much time there anyway, they can pull up my video, they can watch my video, they can connect with me in a way that I don't believe that they can do on other social media platforms, not to mention the fact that it feels like a safe place for them. It's closed, you're not commenting publicly. It feels like more of a community, which again has, for me, has felt more conducive to the coaching space. And one quick thing that I want to say about this is for a really long time, I was scared to to market my business or talk about my message on my Facebook profile. This could be a whole other conversation in and of itself, but I didn't really feel comfortable sharing what I had to say with so many people who I went to high school with. And, we all have those people who we're afraid are going to criticize and all those kind of things. And so for me, my Facebook group was a safe place. My Facebook group was a place where I could show up. I could make sure that I was only growing it intentionally. I was getting the right people in there. I could really be all of myself. I could say the things that maybe I was a little bit afraid to talk about on my Facebook profile. And again, it felt like this really safe space, not just for them, but for me also. And so I had this conversation with somebody last night. I think we can always have conversations around getting over our fears and working through the things that you might believe other people have to say about you. And of course, that's really valid. But I also feel like if that's something you're still working on, create a path of least resistance, right? Create whatever circumstance you need to create so that you can take action more quickly. And so for me, creating and focusing on a Facebook group felt like the safe, easy way for me to do that. And all of my money, for the most part, in that month, most of my money comes in through my Facebook group still now. But over the course of those 30 days, right, I really believe that, again, I wouldn't have the exact numbers for you, but I would want to say that 90% of my money came through that Facebook group. And at that time, it was a small Facebook group. The money came from mostly new people who were just coming into my world and paying attention to me for the first time. So I want you to understand the power of picking that core platform, growing the core platform every single day and showing up there and being really intentional about it. Because again, the right people listening to you, the right people paying attention, and the right people really feeling nurtured can make a massive difference for you in a really short period of time, as I did. The second step, I made the decision to start selling daily. Now, hear me out because I know that might scare a lot of you. But what I was doing at this time was I was kind of marketing aimlessly, right? I was, posting when I felt like posting, talking when I felt like talking. Maybe I'd go live randomly when I needed a sale, but there wasn't a whole lot of strategy and a whole lot of intention behind my marketing, right? And there's a million reasons for that. But I had this moment. I remember watching Katrina Ruth, and I was like, wow, she blogs every single day. And at the end of the blog, she asks for the sale every single day. I can do that, right? So I made this decision in February of 2017 that I was like, I'm going to start showing up every single day. We're going to talk even more about that in the next step. Showing up every single day, but more importantly, or just as important, I should say, is I was going to ask for the sale every single day. I was going to ask for the sale every single day. Now, of course, that doesn't mean asking for one thing on Wednesday and then one thing on Thursday and so on and so forth. I'm going to share with you in a moment how I structure my sales. But the bottom line is I committed to intentionally selling something on a daily basis. For those of you who have some fear around this, I want to remind you that you are a business owner. You're a business owner. You're not a charity, right? So why in the world wouldn't you have something to sell on a daily basis, right? Every other business in the world does. Why do we as personal brands have fear or anxiety around selling ourselves? It's the craziest thing in the world to me, right? So it's funny because, and still this is true now to this day, I make some money off of my website. Somebody will go and check out my mastermind or sign up for private coaching every once in a while, but 90% of my income comes through what I'm selling intentionally on any given day. So again, back then I realized how important it was to start intentionally selling something. And the other thing that I want to say about this is that I create programs and offerings that I believe in so deeply, like so deeply. And I'm not bullshitting you. I really care so much about the programs that I create. And so my attitude when I'm selling so often is you're welcome, right? I create programs that I wish I had access to. I create solutions that I struggled with finding for a really long time. And so my belief is that by buying one of my programs, I'm giving somebody the opportunity to, bypass and get a result so much faster than I was able to. I feel like I'm giving them a gift. Of course, I'm, massively grateful for everybody that purchases my things, but I believe so deeply that anybody investing in my stuff has more. They don't have less because they've spent money with me. They now have more because I believe in the programs that I offer so much. I include so much in the programs that I sell. I sell things at a really reasonable price. I believe my people are fortunate to be sold to, really. And really, if you're a business owner, if you're a coach and you don't feel this way, I think it's worth checking in with yourself, because I know from experience, it's so easy to function day in and day out and worry about the sale and worry about the sale and worry about the sale. But when you shift into this place of how do I actually want to serve people? In my experience, making money becomes a lot easier. And it's funny because, back to this period that we're talking about, early 2017, it was the first time I was really I stopped myself from forcing money to come in and selling whatever I could for the purpose of, oh my God, I have to pay my bills. And instead, really giving myself permission to A, what do I want to create? And B, what would serve my people the most? And that shift in mindset helped me tremendously, not just from a making my business feel better perspective, but from an increase in income perspective, right? There's always something to sell. Now, me at this point, I've created well over 30 programs. And so when I tell people this, they say, oh, well, you've already got a lot of programs that you can sell. And that's not wrong. But also, I want to remind you that there's always ways to pull money out of thin air. And so some of my favorite ways to do it are, let's say if next week I don't feel like selling, I don't have anything specific that I feel like selling. I could say, hey guys, I've got 5 sessions for, I've got 5 60-minute strategy sessions available for X price. Or I remember one time I came up with a goal crushers boot camp. I literally came up with it in the shower. And I said, all right, for 4 weeks, we're going to start next week. I've got 5 spots available. The very first week, you're going to declare what your business goal is. We're going to get really specific. And throughout the 4 weeks of the mastermind, I'm going to help you hit that goal. Literally thought about it in the shower, posted about it on Facebook, and sold the 5 spots in like a couple hours, right? I create these things. Like I said, I believe in these things. I believe in what a single session with me or a mastermind makes possible for my clients. But it also is something that, again, I can pull out of thin air and offer without having to do a bunch of back end work. 30 days of Voxer access is another example. Or sometimes I will repurpose old content. Last week, I had a really busy week and I was like, I really don't feel like selling something new. So I resold a bundle for $497. There have been times that I've done this and I've resold an old challenge for $25. There's always something to sell, right? For me, the concept of not selling doesn't make any sense. There's always something to sell, unless you don't want to sell. That's a different story. But if you desire to sell and you desire money coming in all the time, why not sell all the time? And the thing that I want to say that is so important about this is it's not just about selling all the time, right? A lot of people act as though that sounds exhausting. And I always laugh at that because I feel like now selling all the time is the least exhausting thing because of the fact that there is now no pressure on any one thing that I sell. How many times have you been launching something and you're like, oh my God, I've got to fill these 10 spots, or I don't know what I'm going to do, or I'm going to be so bummed out, whatever it is, right? You're like putting so much pressure on that launch. In this situation, I show up all the time, I sell all the time, money's coming in all the time, and there's no pressure on any one launch. It has taken so much anxiety off of me, not to mention the fact that you're giving people different strokes for different folks. I might sell something for $25, then I might sell something for $2,500, I might sell something for $15,000. I have things at all different price points, and so I'm giving different people different opportunities to buy from me for the first time, and most of my people will go on to buy from me again and again. Right? I over-deliver to my people, and I recognize that getting that customer the first time is the hardest part. So with that over-delivery, right, I'm giving people different options to get in at all different prices, like I said, and then I have people who repeat purchases over and over and over again, and that is massive momentum in my business. Like that very first, in February of 2017, the month that I'm referencing, that first $45,000 month, it was a situation where many of those people bought the first thing that I sold, and then they bought the second thing, and then they bought the third thing, right? And so again, when your people love you and they trust you, they want to keep going with you. So I like the idea of just giving people different opportunities to work with me for the first time. Of course, scarcity has to be established as soon as I announce anything. So that means if I'm going to start selling something on a Monday, let's say I say that I have 5 spots available for this 4-week mastermind, I'm going to let everybody know about the program, obviously, but then I'm going to let them know that the price goes up on Friday or that the doors close the following Wednesday. Whatever it is, I want to give people a reason to move, because if you don't give them a reason to move, they won't move. They won't move. I know that there's a lot of shit talking in the coaching space about the scarcity stuff, and I get it, but at the end of the day, any other business does this. If you wanted to go see a movie in the movie theater, it's not going to stay in the movie theaters forever. They give you a certain period of time so that you actually get your butt in the movie theater. People by nature need a reason to take action, right? It's just human nature. And so for me, for everybody that's doing this successfully, I shouldn't say me, but like it's crucial to let your people know when they need to get in by, so that they know how to take action, rather than saying, oh, I'll do this the next time, or this sounds great, maybe I'll do this soon, or that sounds great, and then they forget about it. From the beginning of selling anything, you want to let them know what that element of scarcity is and when it disappears. So your action steps for step number 2, I want you to, of course, start small. I don't want you to map out, the next 90 days. But I would love to see you pick out what you want to sell over the next 7 days. Make it be something that you feel really good about, that you're excited about, and that gives great results to your people. And then figure out what element of scarcity you can apply. So here's just a quick example of how I might do this on a monthly basis. I personally try to figure this out at the beginning of every month. I figure out what I'm selling, and I figure out the deadlines and the timeline for every single thing that I'm doing. So if we just look at this really quickly, if we look at that first thing that I'm selling, this was where from the previous month, I was wrapping up a different launch. I was selling my self-study program called the 500K Sales System, and doors close. As you can see, doors close on the 28th. Starting that next day, I started selling something called the foundation formula. I typically like to sell most things from between 7 and 10 days. And this is something I explain more in the 500K sales system. But typically, most of the things that I have sold in the past, I sell for somewhere between 7 and 10 days. So I'll just kind of figure out, it's a funny thing, but I kind of like to close the doors on Monday, and there's really no reason for that other than it's like a superstitious thing, because a lot of my best launches have ended on Monday. I don't think it's about it ending on a Monday. Like, I don't think your launches are going to be better because they end on a Monday, but it's just this superstitious thing. So I'll kind of figure out, okay, I want to sell this next, the foundation formula, since it's somewhere between 7 and 10 days. Okay, cool. I'm going to end it on that Monday. After that, I'm going to sell something called the Momentum Mastermind. That was more of a hands-on 4-week thing where people got a lot of access to me. So I wanted to make sure that, again, I was selling that for somewhere between 7 and 10 days. I like to do sometimes, this particular weekend was a weekend when I was hosting my mastermind clients in LA. And so I knew I wasn't going to be really online that weekend. And so I wanted to just sell something for 3 days. That was a self-study program that I've sold before. Just 3 days, just quick and simple, flash sale. I think it was like something for like $97. And then after that, I chose to sell this Unstoppable Society. And I figured out, again, how long I'm going to sell that for. So obviously there are some more details to this, and I do share those in the 500K sales system, but every single month I figure this out ahead of time so that I know that what I'm selling. Now, I like to follow something called disciplined flow. That's what I like to call it anyway. I will sit here and I will figure out my month ahead of time. But if all of a sudden the 12th comes and I don't feel like doing a mastermind, I'll do something else, right? I give myself permission to really feel into what I actually desire, because I know if I don't want to sell something, I'm not going to sell it, right? And so again, I give myself that permission, but I also discipline myself enough to have a plan and to be selling every day so that I know on any given month I have a sales plan. I have a plan to hit my goal. So the third step, okay? So now we've focused on growing that platform. We're showing up for our people. We're talking to all of the people in the platform. Every single day, we're selling to those people. I chose to do step 2 is sell yourself, because everything that I do in terms of my marketing and showing up is based on selling. So step number 3 is to show up daily and to show up intentionally. But I'm showing up, when I say intentionally, I'm showing up based on what I'm selling. Okay. So I think what a lot of people do, like I said earlier, is they just post randomly on Facebook. They talk about random things and they kind of hope that they'll head to their website and book a discovery call or whatever it is, right? But I really chose to start, okay, I'm going to know what I'm selling every single day, and I'm going to show up and I'm going to talk and share my marketing intentionally, right? It was at this time that I was like, I'm done settling for random sales. I want to create sales every single day. I want to tell people what to do. I want to guide them in the right direction. I want to show them, I want to share with them what they need to know, and I want to share with them how they take the next step, right? So for me, it was like, I started going live every single day, right? Every single day I started going live and sharing a topic that was fully in alignment with what it was that I was actually selling. And I'm going to give you another example of that in the next slide. But again, rather than being random, I was sitting there kind of reverse engineering it. I was saying, okay, if I'm talking about the foundation formula Monday through Friday, what can I go live about Monday through Friday that gives content and value that people, my ideal clients for the foundation formula, would actually want to listen to, and I'm setting them up to want to take the next action, okay? So again, I'm being intentional about this. One of the things when I tell people that I made $45,000 that month by deciding to go live every single day is they'll say things like, do I have to go live every single day? Or that sounds like a lot of work, or things like that. And I have to tell you, this question makes me want to like stab somebody. Because here's the thing. If you are not making the money you want to make right now, why wouldn't you want to? Why wouldn't you want to just show up every single day and crush it? And show up every single day and change your circumstance? And show up every single day and be so damn good that they can't ignore you, right? One of the best pieces of advice I've ever been given was from one of my mentors, Katrina Ruth, and she said to me, discipline equals freedom. Discipline equals freedom. So I see so many people every single day trying to figure out how they're going to make money or figure out how they're going to kill that next launch. And I just created these simple steps for myself. One of the biggest ones was, of course, deciding to show up intentionally every single day. Me going live every single day for a half hour of my day made a massive impact, and it literally took me 30 minutes a day. You don't have time for that? You don't have time 30 minutes a day to make a massive impact on how people think about you, what they think about your work, all of those kind of things. If people aren't listening to you right now, why wouldn't you want to go live every single day, right? And I'm not talking to you if your business is going tremendously well and if you're the person who doesn't want to make more money and is happy with the engagement you're getting. I don't know. And if you don't want to show up, if you don't want to go live every single day, okay, maybe this advice isn't for you. But for me at that point, January of 2017, I had an $8,000 month, which was nothing compared to my cost that month. And I had this moment where I was like, I have to change things. Like, I have to crush it. I have to kill it. And so again, it was just this commitment to show up every single day, to sell every single day, to give then ask, to give then ask, right? It wasn't any harder than that. And I have to tell you the honest truth is that my marketing today isn't much harder than that. I do my marketing today in an hour a day. An hour a day. And I break that down for you in my program, the 500K Sales System. I discipline myself enough to do the daily money-making activities, and that frees up so much space and so much energy for me to do all the other things that I want to do, like launch a podcast, guest blog, all of those kind of things, right? It doesn't have to be harder than that, right? So for me, I want you to show the hell up and build momentum with your people, momentum that's going to serve you over and over and over again. So your action steps are based on what you're selling over the next 7 days. I want you to pick 7 juicy topics to go live about that align beautifully with your offer, and then ask for the sale at the end. So as an example, this is how I do this. I literally do this with a giant pad. I use those like giant kids pads from Target. They're like 16 inches by 22 inches. And every single Sunday I sit down and I'm like, okay, what's the call to action this day? What am I selling this day? And based on what I'm selling, what can I talk about that gives massively to my people and makes them want to take the next step? So just as an example, one of my favorite programs, the 500K Sales System, right? It's all about how I figure out how to sell every single day and how I market every single day and all of those kind of things. So based on that, what juicy topics can I come up with that, again, the right person is going to really want to listen to, and it's also going to prime them to see that there's another step, there's that next step to go, which is buying the program, which is going to help them even more with this particular topic. So again, examples, the 3 steps I took to blow up my income in 30 days, why obsessing over sales is actually causing you to lose money, how to figure out what to sell next, even without a ton of programs, big selling mistakes MLM business owners make and how to fix them, 3 reasons your shit isn't selling, top strategies that have grown my Facebook group, how I've had 2 500K back-to-back years with a low-end business model. All of these things are relevant to the 500K sales system, and they're relevant to my ideal client. They want to know these things. So again, I would go live every single day, or that's what I do now. I go live every single day. I talk about this topic. I give people what they want to hear, and then I let them know how to take the next steps. Give, then ask. Give, then ask. It's not more complicated than that, okay? So I want to share with you something that I'm really excited about and proud of, and that's my program called the 500K Sales System, okay? This is a self-study program that teaches you everything about how I sell on a daily basis, right? So lesson number 1, we're covering everything about my Facebook group, right? Because to me, an engaged audience that loves you and wants to hear what you have to say and wants to hear about what you have to offer, that's the backbone of bringing in consistent sales. For so long, I spent so much time focusing on how I can make the next sale, how I can make this next sale, instead of really focusing on how I can build a strong audience that wants everything that I have to offer, right? So in this lesson, I'm teaching you how to create that Facebook group that feels aligned with you, your mission, and is a place that your ideal clients actually want to hang out. We'll talk about how to keep engagement, create engagement, even if your community is dead right now, how to deliver to your people and gain that trust without overstepping your boundaries, because I don't want you coaching people for free. What steps I took to grow my community every single day using free and paid marketing, and effective ways to use your Facebook group to grow your email list. In lesson number 2, I'm breaking down in more detail how I figure out what to sell, right? Because again, I want you having a clear, strategic, intentional plan for what you're selling on a daily basis. Now, for the record, if you don't sell every single day, this still works for you. You can still pick out your days in which you don't want to sell something, right? I don't want you to think that this only works for you if you're going to sell 30 days a month. That's not the truth at all. But I'm showing you how to create a strategic plan for yourself. So again, you're diversifying your offerings, you're finding new, unique things to sell all the time without burning yourself out. I share with you the simple steps that I take to pull money out of thin air over and over again, mapping out what you're going to sell and how long. And one of the most important things is establishing effective deadlines. I was talking to somebody last night where she's like, I put out my new offering and nobody's buying it. And I was like, okay, what's the deadline? And she doesn't have one. People don't move unless you give them a reason to move. So there's an art to this, to giving people a reason to move and take action on your offerings. And I also share with you how to include and create bonuses and add-ons that make your programs different and exciting. And lesson number 3, we talk all about your money-making content. So again, we want to make sure that we're creating content that actually gets people paying attention to you and actually makes people want to buy. So I'm sharing with you guidance on how I plan out all of my content. You know how I just said I do all of my marketing in an hour a day? I share with you exactly how I do this in an hour a day. How to connect with your audience, how to share from the heart, and really give them what they need, including how to craft juicy titles. This drives me crazy when I see terrible titles in your videos. No wonder nobody's paying attention. We talk about making sure that we really make it about what's in it for your people. Plus, how to repurpose content for multiple platforms and how I stay organized so that you're stretching that content and stretching your efforts without burning yourself out. And then lesson number 4, we talk about selling consistently, because in order to get the sale, you need to ask for the sale all the time. So we talk a little bit about unfucking your sales mindset, so that you can drop the guilt around feeling icky or gross about selling. We talk about copy and marketing tips that are actually effective and actually make your people want to buy. How to establish that scarcity so that people grab their credit card and buy now, plus secrets to promotional posts and videos that sell. So you get access to those 4 video lessons plus supplementary content as soon as you register, okay? So you get 4 core videos, you get a bunch of supplementary content like workbooks, tutorials, examples, printable planners, literally everything you need to put all of these pieces together. I did this program live a couple months ago, and we did 2-hour-long Q&A sessions, which were really valuable, so you have access to those as well. Plus, I'm giving you access to a peer-to-peer Facebook group where you can chat with other members that are in the program. I pop in there every once in a while. I'm not super active there, but I will do Q&A sessions if I feel like it. But it's a really valuable place for you to be to, again, talk to other people working through the program. Plus, you get a ton of bonuses. So you get an Own Your Message training. This is 4 audios that walk you through really stepping into a place where you feel good. I'm sorry, it's not 4 audios. I think it's 1 audio. Audio training on really making sure that you're owning who you are and what you do, because your confidence is what sells. Your confidence is what sells. So if you're not confident about what you do, it's going to be really hard to get other people to be confident about what you do. So again, I gave you a training that you can go through this and work on this for yourself. I've given you 2 trainings on my program creation process, so not only how I figure out what programs to sell and what steps I take to do that, but I've given you a walkthrough and written examples of my best-selling programs so that you understand exactly the formats that I've used to sell the programs that have sold the most. I've also given you my program Supercharge Your Challenge, which is an in-depth digital training on exactly how I've run my most successful free live challenges. My most successful month ever, my biggest month ever, was a $77,000 month, and that was largely due to a free live challenge. And so I walk you through every step of my free live challenges, how I set up the Facebook ads, the landing pages, your automated emails. You've got checklists, tutorials, everything, even exact examples of like the Facebook ads that worked. You've got a lot in there. It's crazy, and you get that as a free bonus. So normally I would charge $697 or 8 weekly payments of $97 for this program. But if you register before the clock runs out, you're going to get instant access to everything for just $497 or 6 weekly payments of $97. So I want you to put this into perspective for a moment. Like, I'm telling you exactly how I structured my marketing for 2 $500,000 back-to-back years. I had a $70,000 month last month just because of my sales system. And I'm breaking everything down for you for literally $497 or 6 weekly payments of $97. It is the no-brainer of all no-brainers. There's a button underneath this video that you can click to check it out, or you can always go to the 500ksalesystem.com to learn more. But again, that discount, the $200 discount, expires when the countdown below or above expires. So you don't want to miss out on that. Okay? Any questions? Join the Facebook group and let me know, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.